My apologies. My apologies for the delay. They have been doing their best job of trying to hold me back once again. It's another day. I got to struggle just to go live. It's crazy. But Skip Bayless, the man, the myth, the legend, the skipster. Hit the like button, good people. Hit the like button. And you know what they doing. The man, the myth, the legend is no more. He came in a storm, created this debate television thing, and everybody started to go crazy, giving their analogies on it. But before there was even a show, Undisputed, there was a show on ESPN called Cold Pizza that turned into First Take, that turned into Skip leaving, and that made Stephen A. Smith what he is today. And you're looking at all of the people and the pieces they put together. They've turned this thing into it's a monster. It's a monster. And we're going to get ready to get into it. So hit the like button. Let's run the intro. Hi, I'm Carcino. Oh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
No one knows Carcino and none of these.
There's so much going on in the world. And I'm just giving my 2 cents on it. Go in and do a raid at someone's house, but you don't have an arrest warrant for them. Skip Bayless. This thing is taking place. Two weeks ago, it was shocking to you guys who might not know. I'm here to tell you what's next for Skip Bayless and what's next for Undisputed. I'm here to tell you Undisputed is gone. It is gone. Will it return? No one knows. But the Lil Wayne, the intro, all of that is gone. There will be no Undisputed next week. We don't know if Undisputed will ever return. We don't know if Paul Pierce is going to return. We don't know if Keyshawn is going to return. They might be on another show and they might rename it on Fox. But the Skip Bayless show, it's over. Now you're going to know what the problems were with the show altogether. Now, just so people can grasp what I'm saying, here's the news. Rachel Nichols is in Paris. She's doing what she's doing with her coverage on the NBA. They're sneaking her back into the games. And she's partnered really with LeBron James and what he's been doing. Skip has been really nice to LeBron these past couple of weeks and months. He's really changed his tune on LeBron. And now, because of that, people want to know what happened to this show. What led to it? Well, what led to this being the fallout was the NFL, who was very critical of Skip Bayless with his Damar Hamilton remarks. They got a lot of pressure on Skip Bayless. And the reason that a lot of players just don't like Skip Bayless, and a lot of colleagues that work in basically the NFL, a lot of female journalists, people who do ringside, commentators, a lot of females that work for Fox don't like Skip Bayless. They feel like he's old-fashioned and he's not hip with the times, that women have a voice now. So that played into a major problem with Skip being on the show, which led Jenny Taft to leave the show completely. And, Joy Taylor got out of there. Skip kind of drove her off. She went to Colin Cowherd's show, basically ran to his show before she got her own show. And now she's much happier. Well, you got to understand that the dynamics have changed. Skip Bayless is on the ropes right now, and there was a lot of rumblings that was going on behind the scenes that people don't know about, and it's messy. There's a lot of people talking, and they know nothing about what's going on in there. I've seen some people talk about this, and they fired him, and they didn't want him, and they just talking. They have no clue about what's happening. They don't even know Undisputed's off the air. They just think Skip's just gone. Undisputed's off the air. It's done for right now. And it might be months, or it might be forever. We don't know yet as far as who's going to come back, what's going to come back. First things first is going to be in the time slot. And they're basically going to replay First Things First again, because I think First Things First is going back into the mornings. His last show was today. No, I haven't even seen Ticket, but I wasn't talking about Ticket. No, I've seen a lot of like random people, meaning people that I don't even usually click on, or people I don't even see talking about it is now, I'm going to talk about it now. When it doesn't even make sense for them to even be talking about it, period. Because most of them don't know anything about it. Now, here's the dealings that was going on inside of Fox Sports. When this incident happened, Fox Sports bosses contacted Skip Bayless. The NFL, this was the Damar Hamlin situation. This is when all the problems started. They had a lot of people that was in awe about what was going on, because this guy was fighting for his life inside of a hospital. And Skip is like, hey, why are they stopping the game? Just really inconsiderate. So a lot of people was angry. Shannon Sharpe was in his feelings and wanted Skip to apologize. Skip Bayless refused to apologize for his statement. And even the bosses wanted him to issue some sort of apology. And what he put out wasn't even that. And he never took the tweet down. Shannon said, well, I hoped, that he would take it down. And he wasn't even going to go into it, and they weren't going to bring it up on the show at all. But Shannon wanted to explain why he wasn't there, as he didn't show up that day with Skip out of anger and frustration, being a former NFL player. mentioned the fact about his brother Sterling Sharpe, who played with the Packers, took a bad hit, and Sterling Sharpe was paralyzed for a few minutes while he was on the ground. Doctor told him it was a risk that if he takes another hit like that, he could be permanently paralyzed, but he could return back to play football. Shannon said, "Don't risk it." And he retired. One of the best in the game when he did. Now, thank you. Appreciate you. It's a lot of stuff going on. Skip's tweet was taken out of context. Well, the NFL didn't feel so, and they put a lot of pressure on Fox. So as they came back, Skip and Shannon had been going at it for months prior to this, and he was really pissed about Shannon not being there that Monday. The exchanges between those two for the past month, every day was a scream fest. It wasn't even a show anymore. They were just shouting back and forth to each other, and you knew this thing wasn't going to last long. So Shannon Sharpe blows up on the show to put your glasses on. We know about that, right? Then in between the commercial breaks, they're yelling. The producer of the show comes out. They talk to the producer. Shannon Sharpe is going off about the disrespect. So they go through the show, and Shannon is giving it back to Skip. And this is the first time Shannon's really not taking it. Before, he would just bow down to Skip. Now he doesn't do it. He's throwing shots right back at Skip Bayless. Skip becomes irate and says, "I don't know what he's doing. He's not following, the program or the script. He's just pattering, So they went at it with Skip. Back and forth. Now, Skip Bayless is at the point where he just we're going to have to do something at the end of this, the basketball season before football comes around. We're going to have to make a change. Something's got to happen here because this thing is going to implode. We got to get everybody, we got to have a meeting. We got to get everybody back on the par. Shannon comes in, blows up, tells them, say, "Hey, it's either Skip or me. We can't work like this. This is toxic. Something's going to happen where I'm going to blow my top. I don't want to blow my top on the air, and it costs me." Fox is livid that Shannon Sharpe decided to not return to work, decided to stick with Skip Bayless and let Shannon go. Say, "Shannon, we've had tons of complaints from you. So Skip is a soldier, he knows this is just a job. You take it too personal. So we're just going to let you go because we can't deal with your testosterone." So Fox let Skip Bayless go. Kept Skip Bayless and let Shannon Sharpe go. They give Shannon Sharpe his money from the contract. They come out with an agreement for a buyout of his contract. Shannon couldn't believe it that he was being out. So he had about 2 more weeks to go before it was time for Shannon to be out. And everybody kind of said, are they serious? Shannon's really going to leave? Like the word was like, Shannon is out. No one could believe it. And sure enough, that day in June 13th, I believe, Shannon Sharpe, they made an announcement that he was leaving. Skip said, I fought for you. Like, I fought that, that we should keep you. Try to see if we can get you under reins, but it wasn't to be. See, once Shannon popularity got up there with Skip's, Skip is still the big dog, but Shannon's like, you're going to have to respect me a little bit more. Skip's looking like, look, I brought you here. I talk to you any old kind of way I want. Stop taking it so personal. This is just television. It's entertainment. Shannon is very thin-skinned because he's all caught up in what people say about him on social media. You've been seeing it ever since he left the show. And you start seeing him with his Instagram, with his with Boot Thing, his stylist, and how the stylist was coming on there telling y'all what was what, and how he was so nervous and scared about people saying, he go the other way, and all of this stuff was starting to pick at him. And during his last week, he decides to go after Kwame Brown, which set off a whole storm. So he had that going on with the fact that he wasn't even going to have a job no more. So he didn't know what his next move was going to be. He knew he had Club Shay Shay. He was going to worry about that, then move on. And he didn't know he could go to ESPN and all of this stuff. They had to do a crazy negotiation because everybody wanted it. So he ends up signing with Colin Cowherd's Violator, or whatever that thing is, the volume rather. And that's where the podcast went. He went there. Here's where it gets interesting, people. This is where your popcorn comes in. So I'm taking y'all full circle so y'all can get all of the details of what's going on. That's why we had to go back to Shannon Sharpe, right? Now, the bosses at Fox told Skip, okay, here's what we're going to do. Until we rebuild and find out who we're going to be the host, let's just get the carousel going right now. The carousel means we're going to get everybody who works for Fox on all the other shows. We're going to have them come and contribute on this show. Like one day it'll be Shady for a couple of days. We'll grab somebody. You might be debating Joy. You might be debating all these people. We keep the carousel going for a couple of weeks till we find another host, right? The show keep it going. The show don't stop. That was the problem. The show stopped. Skip couldn't agree with anybody Fox brought in there to be the co-host. Nick Wright was who they really wanted to bring in there, and they was like, oh, Nick Wright's going to be the guy. That was not to be. See, Nick Wright isn't a bad person. It's just that's a bad fit for Skip. My interview with Boot Thing was a classic on the Patreon. Oh, yeah. Definitely was. I got to check in with him and see if he's still working with Usher. He was on tour with Usher. So I got to see what was going on with him. Oh no, Terrence, it's already on the Patreon. You ain't got to tell all. He just did he did 2 interviews with me. When Shannon was out here lying on him. So Skip Bayless don't want to agree to do the carousel. Skip Bayless is like, I don't need to do the carousel. He didn't want to do it. So after that was done, things turned around. Now, here's the narrative. Skip kept Undisputed off the air for June and July, came back in August with a whole new team. So you lost 2 whole months. And in that time, Shannon Sharpe announces that he's going over to join Stephen A. Smith, and they're going to come out with the new team up with Stephen A. and Shannon Sharpe. So Undisputed comes back after 2 months off. What do you think the followers and watchers of Undisputed was going to do? They were going to leave. They left because the show went in a direction that did not make any sense to them. The show went in a direction that was going to where Skip Bayless wanted to do it his way. I'm going to bring in my crew. I'm going to do this. They said, all right, Skip, this is on you. We're going to do this your way. You took 2 months off. We could have did a carousel and kept our viewers on. We lost our viewers and sent them elsewhere for 2 months. Just putting on reruns and putting on other shows in your slot. Now, this better work. He gets with Lil Wayne. They pay Lil Wayne on a salary. Lil Wayne makes a whole new intro. He's paid for that. Lil Wayne's going to appear on Fridays. Then he brings in Richard Sherman, who they didn't like. Fox didn't want Richard Sherman. They didn't think he tests well. He stutters when he talks. They didn't like the guy. Skip wanted him. And they was banking on that controversy that they had before to bring him in. Then they had a chance to get Keyshawn Johnson. So they was like, oh, wow, we can get Keyshawn. Since they want, Shannon Sharpe, we got to have a splash here. Then he had the playmaker coming over, Michael Irvin. Fox was not happy about Michael Irvin being on the show. They were worried about him, even though he won the case in the judgment and the settlement or whatever. They were antsy about having a guy like that because he's too unpredictable, they think. Skip says, I got it. So they said, okay, Skip, it's all on you. We'll ride with it and see where it goes. Soon as it starts, the numbers were decent. They were higher, but they were still low. Because, one, there's no Shannon Sharpe. And then the show is like a free-for-all. There's too many people there. Skip can't even get a word in. It's like everybody's at the table going for theirs. And it's like, man, this is bad. Real bad. Michael Irvin was only there for the NFL season. So his contract was shorter than everyone else. Keyshawn's contract was extended because they've always liked Keyshawn Johnson. So they like Key. So they wanted Key to be on the show. No problems with him. the person who was supposed to be the head of the show, Richard Sherman, wasn't pulling his own weight. Then he gets a DUI. So then they were like, you can just do it from home. We don't even want you coming into the office. Just stay at home. Then you can phone in for some segments. So this is a recurring theme that's happening with Skip Bayless, and it's happening with No, you noticed something different on the show right away. Skip Bayless was told there'll be no more outbursts on your show. Skip Bayless could no longer outburst. He was handcuffed on Fox. He wasn't happy about it. He could not show emotion on the show. There was no more Skip Bayless banging the tables, yelling at people across the table. That was outlawed. Ever since that Shannon Sharpe thing went down, he was told on Fox Sports is like, no more outbursts. We don't want to see it. We don't want that anymore. We just want sports. We want communication without the screaming and yelling at each other. So Michael Irvin, one of his first episodes, he gets up, he's talking. Michael Irvin's just loud, period. Gets up, hugs Skip, gets back in his chair. Fox Sports told them, we don't want that. Don't get up and grab the people on the show. Just stay in the chair. So Michael Irvin wouldn't do that. He wouldn't get that loud anymore. He started to stay more conservative, and it made the show boring. It made it stale. It made the show less emotions, less feelings, less everything. And you see Skip sitting there like a neutered dog. And I was like, man, what? They didn't clip this nut, Skip did. Yeah. Okay, your turn. Skip just was trying to get through it. He knew he was leaving. Skip does not like to be told what to do. And once the numbers were low and the ratings was low, Skip felt like Fox was the reason for that. They got in the way and sabotaged his vision in the way he likes to do things. Skip believes if it was done in his way, the numbers would not have been low. So people got to understand what it is that they're even talking about. It's getting crazier and crazier out there. Fox Sports, I won't say is very diverse when it comes into upper management, even at Fox Sports 1. The people that work there, there's zero tolerance. Okay? Zero tolerance. That's the policy that they have. Zero tolerance. Chris Carter made one outburst. Had his own show. First thing first was his show. Nick Wright wasn't the guy. It was Chris Carter. He had one outburst because he was right. Why are you going to hire other guys to come in and do the broadcast? We could do that job. Me and Nick Wright, if they're having Monday Night Football or Thursday Night Football, and we got it here on Fox, and it's our network, and we gonna be showing the shows or the football games, why in the world are we gonna give that to somebody else to bring them in? You already got guys here that played. Why don't you put us there? Me and Nick can do that. Can do that show. Chris got into an arguing and yelling match that scared them, and they fired him on the spot. And because of that, they even had security follow him to his desk while he got all of his items. They had security follow him. These are the type of people you're dealing with. If anybody black shows any emotion, they're a threat. So imagine Shannon Sharpe. So when Shannon left, the reports went back to ESPN. That guy's a time bomb. He could just blow up. And do you want him to blow up in front of millions of people? They put this stereotype on Shannon, like he's just gonna blow up on somebody. Mm-hmm. So they want people like Keyshawn Johnson. That's who Fox want. They love Key. Now, them bringing on Paul Pierce helped the show as far as sustaining the gap, got somebody with a personality on the show, but then they started to reel him in. Well, when you're in a certain sector or you're in a certain section and you see what's actually transpiring out there, you start to figure out what's going on in these rooms. So I knew exactly what was happening this been just getting drug out for months. This was months into it. He brought Paul Pierce on to try to help the ratings. The ratings got a little bit better, but still the show was damaged beyond repair. There was nothing they could do to recover it back because they took the emotion out of it. They took everything out of the show that made it work. Now, with Skip, here's where we're going to start going into Skip in the future. What is Skip Bayless going to do in the future? What is the future for the 72-year-old Skip Bayless? Skip Bayless is going to go into a different field that is the same field. I don't think he's doing network television anymore. Even though that's where the money is, look for him to go the podcast route, the internet. Like he's doing here with the Skip Bayless show, and he's barely scraping the surface. I think he's going to have a big layout. He's going to end up on a show on one of these podcast networks and get picked up and do his show from there. And he's going to have to transition his style that he likes to do it in a different format. Now, not everybody could podcast. Podcast is not the same as network television. As you can see, the Skip Bayless podcast show that you see here is set up just like a television show. Skip reads off the teleprompter. It's the same thing Stephen A. Smith does. They don't know how to really podcast. They run it like a radio show. So when you see this play out, Skip is probably going to get a job, not a job, but get sponsored by Bleacher Report or Bleacher Room or whatever it is, or Blaze. People like that are going to come with a bag for Skip. You know, Outkick, those type of guys will throw money in Skip Bayless's direction and say, come over here, Skip. We got the platform for you. Now, here's the thing that people don't know about Skip. Yes, I've watched Skip podcast. He doesn't really put a lot into it. He barely gets on there and do it because he just really doesn't care. He just does it to have a little bit of an internet presence because Fox asked him to. Once Shannon had Club Shay Shay, he used to record it on the Fox lot. They had their own lot, so now Skip will have to get his own location. So he can pretty much do what he wants to do there. The narrative's never going to change. But yes, I don't see Skip Bayless going back to ESPN. He never said he was going there. And everybody's trying to close the door on him and jump the gun, which I felt was real tacky, even by Stephen A. Smith. Like, no, I won't work with him again. It's like, nobody asked you, bro. ESPN putting out a statement. It's like, I never wanted to go back there. Like, I never said I was going to go back there. And here's the thing, just a year ago, ESPN was ready to make a bid to try to get to get Skip Bayless back because the numbers were high. But now that they got the real person that was generating those numbers and boosting them all the way up, which was Shannon Sharpe, they don't need Skip now. They're like, well, we got Shannon now. You helped build Shannon up. Now we got Shannon Sharpe. And Shannon on the show, he's like neutered too. It wasn't fun. Before they could do masks, they could do props on the show. You can't do anything on First Take. First Take is so drawn out, then they want to use the black characters to highlight their other characters who has no personality. You know, they bring what's his name, Ogoslowski or whatever. They bring him in there. Mm. Oh, well, you know, when people make decisions, I don't get involved in that. Other people make decisions on what they want to do. It's not up to me to really make other people's decisions on their minds up. That's not my job. Like, my job ain't to make Skip Bayless's mind up. You know, what Skip Bayless want to do next. Skip Bayless is the one that showed people how to get this kind of money. A lot of people in podcasts wasn't getting that kind of money. Okay, Jim Rome was the first guy to really get that big bag. And Skip Bayless was on Jim Rome's show. A lot of people didn't know that. And Marcellus Wiley brought that back up to the public too. Shouts out to him because he was the one that really brought that to the forefront. Now, you got so many different people out there now because of Skip Bayless. They got opportunities. Now, Skip Bayless comes and you get opportunities because of Skip. You know, he said once Skip started going easy on LeBron, it was over. Skip is going to be doing his own thing. He's going to do the podcast game now because for people that like Skip, they're not doing that on national television anymore. They're just not allowing it. Now, the Carlton show, that Carlton guy, he ain't Skip Bayless. He ain't Skip Bayless in a little bit. And as a lead-in show, he got more passion and fire on his show than Skip Bayless. That's a problem. So Skip was like neutered at Fox because they wouldn't let him do anything. So he just got to the end of his contract. That was it. And now he's leaving. So that's just how it is. So now Skip's going to go set up something, get a new deal, and start a podcast show. And he can go from there. And Skip, will, he'll be able to do his thing. Skip is just boring. Not really. Skip ain't boring when he can be Skip. He ain't been Skip since Shannon was gone. Skip gets loud. Oh, wait a minute. I'm talking. Bam! Skip slamming the table, fist pounding on the table. He's Skip. Now he's got to just sit there with his hands in his lap because he was told he can't show any emotions. He was told no more outbursts. None of it. Fox did not want to see it anymore. Yeah, they moved Nick right up. They said, look, you need to get with a stylist. Are you bald or is this a fashion choice? No, I can grow hair. Well, good. You need to grow it all the way out. we got to get, you got kind of like a Keanu Reeves thing going. John Wick is popular right now. We're going to have you do that. You got to get a little beard going. All right, there you go. And then they put Chris, what's his name, Broussard. They put him up there. They said, okay, can you grow a goatee? Good. We're gonna style it up for you. We got to young you up. So yeah, Undisputed is off the air. It's completely done. They're going to redo the whole thing now. It is all over. Keyshawn killed the show. A lot of people hate Keyshawn. I mean, he ain't bothered me that much. It's just that he's what Fox wants. They like Keyshawn. Skip didn't go get Keyshawn Johnson. I'm going to tell you that now. That was Fox. Fox wanted to make that deal because they were like, we need to get somebody from them. Now, if Skip could have got past it, if they would have got Jalen Rose, put Jalen Rose on there right across from Skip Bayless and had them two go at it every day, oh, that would have been a classic show. But Skip's ego kept that from happening. He banned Jalen Rose from coming on the show with him when they were on ESPN. And on Fox, he was not willing to let that go for that to transpire. I know you better download that intro because it might be gone forever. Well, when you put it in that, if you put it that way, think about it. If that's how everybody's moving and everybody thinks it's supposed to go and generating the revenue, the interest, the public, blah, blah, blah. That's not how it works. Skip Bayless and Kwame Brown. If Skip Bayless and Kwame Brown did a show, here's the thing though, Kwame go hard on Skip. Skip really didn't have no real, like back in the day he did, but like now he was on Kwame's side. Kwame didn't give a damn. Dracula face. Oh, Dracula face. Yeah, Skip Bayless up there looking like old Dracula face. Water Pistol Pete. I was like, man, he was saying nice things about you. He remember what he said way back like 20 years ago. But now, Skip kind of like was off that and was like, well, I feel this guy had a right. Guys been going in him for 20 years. He was on his side. KB didn't care. Nah, I don't see it going that way. The way I see things working is a little bit different from how other people see it going. I'm seeing this as a learning experience for some. Skip Bayless had a $32 million contract to network television. Only people that was getting paid like that was Jim Rome. Now Skip's gonna go to the internet and get his money. Joe Rogan is the type that gets that money now. Nobody. What happened with him is he wasn't liked on the show. Okay, like I said, there are sideline reporters who are female that work in the NFL. They hate Skip Bayless. Troy Aikman hates Skip Bayless. When he worked at Fox, he couldn't believe they hired him and brought him over to Fox. The women that work there, they've heard all the outbursts. He likes things in a certain order. If he ain't that way, he lashes out, he gets mad. Skip is not that guy. Well, when you start thinking in that frame, well, you start thinking in the frame of who's perfect for you and what's the best fit. Skip Bayless was not a liked man. A lot of people just didn't like Skip Bayless. It's like you're kidding me. No way. Skip Bayless wasn't going for that. Skip was not forced out. Skip was not forced out. They was just going to go in another direction because it didn't work out. And working with Skip isn't going to work out. They want to go in another direction. Nick Wright is who they want to build around. See, the network wants their way, but Skip was, because of his contract, they was like, well, this is our flagship show. Now, First Things First is going to be the flagship show. Yeah, they're gonna make First Things First their flagship show. Well, yeah, they want Nick Wright because you looking at it right there. Nick Wright has the worst NBA takes in the world, but he's gotten popular because of his glazing for LeBron James. So that got him pushed all the way up the ladder. So, and with what happened with Chris Carter and everything else, Nick Wright was just able to just keep rising up. Oh, he has the worst takes in sports history. Let me tell you that right now. Nick Wright's look. That's a Nick Wright proposed trade. The Golden State Warriors give up Jordan Poole, Kuminga, and Moses Moody and get LeBron James. like, like who would do that? It's just awful take after awful take with him. So I've never taken Nick Wright seriously. Well, people got to make that a priority again. When you make things a priority, it starts falling in place. Fox should just stick to the news. My thing is, First Take is awful. It is. First Take is just absolutely awful. But did you see that trade that they just offered? That's why I can't watch it. Hell, I'd rather at least listen to Speak before I watch First Things First. His basketball takes are the worst. Yeah, with football coming up, bringing back Max Kellerman on Fox, that could be the savior. That what y'all think? No, 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 no. He's like, no, no. I'm enjoying this family time. So Skip left with Lil Wayne today. They walked out. Yeah, Skip walked out with Lil Wayne today for the last time on his show. That's why all the information came out 2 weeks ago that Skip was out. This was never supposed to leak that Skip was leaving. Like they didn't discuss it. So it was like, wait a minute. Who's doing this? Mm-hmm. What Weezy gonna do without Skip? No, the show's over. They both out. We think Wayne's staying there. The show is over. The song don't work without Skip. The whole show is done. Oh, definitely hit the like button. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it wasn't the same without Unc, but it's still the party and the show still went on. So anyway, I got a lot of stuff to do, man. Shouts out to Kwame Brown, Buzz Life, Ticket TV, Dreamers Pro, Marcellus Wiley. Welcome to HDI TV, Jack Sports with Jose Rodriguez. I'm finna update the Patreon again. If you didn't see that Kid Cudi thing, please go over there right now. I swear to you. Jeez. That's what you want to see right now. Trust me. I'm out.